In the shadowed annals of folklore, where cautionary tales are born from the harshest truths, lies the haunting story of Hansel and Gretel. Their journey begins not with wonder, but with the gnawing pangs of starvation. A famine so severe it drove their parents to an unthinkable act of desperation. To save themselves, they would lead their own children into the foreboding heart of the whispering woods and leave them to the mercy of the ancient trees. Their first attempt was thwarted by Hansel's cleverness, using shining pebbles to mark their path home. But their return only delayed the inevitable. On the second, more fateful journey, they were led even deeper into the labyrinth of shadows. This time, Hansel's trail was made of breadcrumbs, a fragile hope devoured by the forest's hungry birds. As twilight bled into an impenetrable darkness, the children were truly lost, their small hands clasped together against the terrifying symphony of the woods. Every snap of a twig, every rustle of leaves sounded like the footfall of a predator. Just as despair began to consume them, a strange light flickered through the dense canopy, guiding them to an impossible sight. A cottage constructed entirely of gingerbread, cake, and candy. For the starving children, it was a miracle, a sweet deception that promised salvation. They fell upon the sugary walls, their fear momentarily forgotten in the rush of sweet relief. Their feast was interrupted by the creak of a door and the appearance of a stooped old woman. Her smiles were too wide, her eyes too sharp, but she welcomed them with promises of warm beds and endless food. Lured by her saccharine words, Hansel and Gretel stepped across the threshold, unaware that they were trading the vast, dark forest for a far more intimate and terrifying cage. The crone's embrace quickly tightened into a grip of iron. The cottage, once a beacon of hope, became a prison. Hansel was locked in a small cage, his purpose reduced to a single, horrifying function: to be fattened for the slaughter. Each meal pushed upon him was a reminder of his impending doom, his boyish frame growing heavier as his fear grew ever more immense. While her brother was being prepared for the oven, Gretel was forced into servitude. She scrubbed floors and tended the fire, her mind racing as she pieced together the woman's true nature. The sweet old crone was a witch, and the warmth of her home was the heat of a predator's den. Her suspicion turned to chilling certainty when the witch began to stoke the great brick oven, her sinister intent hanging in the air like a pall of smoke. As the witch prepared for her gruesome feast, Gretel knew their survival rested on her small shoulders. Her mind, sharpened by terror, hatched a desperate plan. When the witch, impatient and cruel, ordered her to check the heat of the oven, Gretel feigned ignorance, claiming she was too small to understand how. Frustrated, the witch grumbled and bent to demonstrate, peering into the roaring maw of the fire. In that single, decisive moment, Gretel shoved the crone with all her might, sending her tumbling into the blistering heat and slamming the iron door shut. Freeing Hansel, the children didn't dare look back. They snatched handfuls of the witch's pearls and precious stones before fleeing the candy trap, the memory of the oven's roar chasing them through the woods. Guided by some newfound instinct, they navigated the once terrifying forest and found their way back to the familiar edge of their village. Their reunion with their father was bittersweet. Their cruel stepmother had passed away, and their father was consumed with regret. They were home, but they were not the same children who had left. They were survivors, their innocence lost in the candy house, and their spirits forever scarred by the shadow of the woods. The treasure they brought ensured they would never starve again, but the memory of their ordeal would haunt their days and nights. And so, the tale of Hansel and Gretel is etched into our collective memory, a chilling reminder that the greatest monsters sometimes wear the kindest smiles, and that even the sweetest of homes can be a trap. But that, as they say, is a story for another time.